tricontinental gridlock, to pick up my Louis Vuitton. To Biddy said, to pick up my loot, Veterage, bombshell of a tune, not a thought that I had. Noodle section. Thank God the moon.
All right, my name's Kerry Courtney, and we're here at Swamp Cow, and I'm here with
Bingo the Vistrian.
Bingo. Just played a full set here, and I have a few questions for you. So let's get into it. So I'm very curious because your music is so unique. What are 3 artists that you would say like help define your music taste?
I would say the main ones are King Gizzard and the Wizard Lizard, as well as The Doors. They're probably my biggest inspirations. And probably Dan Deacon. He makes sort of electronic stuff that's sort of similar to the style I have. It was inspirational, especially when I started making music, just because I hadn't really heard anyone else make songs like that, and that's sort of how my songs ended up sounding. So, yeah, it was very cool.
Okay, so doing a little digging in your music library, you've released over 10 albums in 5 years. That's an insane amount of songs. So, like, if you want to explain a little bit more about the albums and what that process was like for you.
A lot of the albums are instrumental projects, as well as projects that I made within a certain amount of time. A good couple of them are like albums I made in just 1 week of time. And one's like one I made in a day. And they're like just sort of, I'll like get into the zone and just start messing around on the FL Studio on the computer until I end up with a song. Then I put it together and put it out. A lot of the songs are very long, so I can't perform all of them. Like the first couple ones I did today, like the first one I think is 17 minutes, 14 minutes, and then before is like a 25-minute song, but they need to be shortened quite a bit to perform them. Yeah, I like making music. It's my favorite thing to do, and so I do it all the time, sometimes to my own detriment because I'll spend too much time making new songs and not enough time finishing songs I already have written, but it's a good problem to have, I think.
Man, I notice just with your songs, your lyrics are so in depth and make you go somewhere like in your mind. So with the album you performed today, I don't know if it's a concept or maybe explain a little bit more about the story you're telling through your songs because it's brilliant and it really takes you somewhere.
The album Toxic Octonaut, for inspiration, came from the album Time by Electric Light Orchestra, as well as the book Solaris by Stanislaw Lem. I think that's how it's pronounced. It's a book from like the 60s about a whole hive mind planet that's like it has a huge ocean and the ocean is all alive. And I thought that was a really cool idea. And so I sort of incorporated it into my own story. And I like to tell stories in my music. This story is about them finding alien life already on the planet Earth, but they can't communicate with it. Then they find out where it is, and then they go there, and then he joins with the hive mind and comes back to Earth and makes utopia, solves all the problems in the world.
Oh, that's absolutely brilliant. So I'm curious with your other albums, do you always write in concept, or is it different every time, or do you write about your own personal life, or do you keep it concept?
It sort of varies by album. I have a bunch of concept albums like Tricontinental Explorenza, where the first couple songs came from, and Birth and Before, that's sort of about my life and a lot of the experiences that I've had. I like to talk about it in my songs to just sort of work through it for myself. But I have a couple albums that are not concept albums, like a new one that I've been working on. Even in that one, I still create connections between the songs. I can't really help myself with that. That's just one of my favorite things to do in songwriting, storytelling, and music in general. So, yeah.
I could tell, yeah, you do it brilliantly. All right, this is one of my favorite questions to ask the artists. What is something that your fans would be surprised to know about you personally, if you have anything?
I could explain where the name Bingo comes from.
Oh, yeah.
I don't usually explain that. I went to a summer camp called MDA camp, which is a muscular dystrophy association camp for people with conditions similar to mine. They have like a gambling night where they have a bunch of fake money and they bring in casino like tables. And for the younger ones, they have had a bingo game going on. They kept, whenever someone got a bingo, they kept yelling bingo louder and louder. Like they were just screaming bingo at the top of their lungs. Like one of the campers would get a bingo and then every counselor would just start screaming. Then eventually they were like running around the room and like parading around whoever got a bingo. And this continued throughout like the week. They were just screaming bingo across the camp. D-double-J, which is one of the campers there, he's got like a bunch of big speakers installed on his wheelchair. He's like a DJ guy. He was in our cabin and I was listening to rap music for the first time really, but I could really hear when they were screaming bingo across the camp, like that would be a good rapper tag.
Oh, nice.
Like how they say the name. And so I decided if I was ever going to be a music artist, I would use the name Bingo. And I just heard it as like a rapper tag, and then when I was thinking back on it, because that's sort of how I started writing music, was I would write rap lyrics. And then it sort of morphed into what I do now. Bingo's a unique word where in like most circumstances, it's most appropriate to be yelled instead of just said normal, because you yell out bingo and stuff like that. But like thinking back on it, it's like a bunch of like young adults just go entertain the kids as much as possible by just screaming bingo as much as they can. Looking back, it's like an incredibly wholesome thing to choose the name based on. So I think it was a good choice, and I still like the name a lot. But that's the origins of the name Bingo.
I love that. That's incredible. Thank you for sharing that. At Swamp Cow, what is one of your favorite drinks to get?
For sure the Sunrise, because that just tastes like juice. A great taste. And it's really interesting. I've noticed that kava can sometimes make it like easier on singing. Like I don't have to think about it as much. It's because it sort of numbs the mouth. Yeah, I think kava's cool.
Awesome. Yeah, it's cool that you mentioned that, because as a singer, I notice before singing, like on stage, if I drink kava, it loosens my throat up more, so I could do runs more smooth. I just feel more relaxed. Maybe it's also mentally too, where I feel like I don't hesitate to hit a certain note. All right, I did want to ask, I know you have a lot of items over here. If you don't mind, I know you're very specific with like the settings and everything. If you don't mind explaining, I would love to know more about what you got going on here.
So we have the abacus, which is just for the song Octopus, about 8 on the abacus, that I bring that along. Then I have my Vistrian crystals over here, items that I have, artifacts that like mean something to me. I'll get one at a meaningful point in my life usually. This first one here, this one I got in Barcelona recently when I was there. This is the black one here with the 2 points. Is crystal I got right after my first show in 2022. Then this one, this is a paperweight that my granddad, who I was named after, used. It has a 4-leaf clover inside. I mean, this is also his ring that he had, and he gifted to me. This top one, this is one of the more important ones to me, just because of when I got it. It's on the first anniversary of a Vistrian event called the Crowning of the Rule Maker. I just sort of have like a bunch of rings and artifacts for like different Vistrian things that I do, which that's just a belief system that I have for myself, the whole Vistrian stuff. It's just I was into philosophy for a long time and still am. And so I sort of figured out what I wanted to believe, because none of the systems I saw really fully worked for me. And so I sort of took pieces from everywhere and came up with my own stuff and put it all together into my own system that I just made just for me.
If you don't mind asking, what is a philosopher? It doesn't have to be your favorite, but what is one that you like really enjoy?
Probably Descartes, just the I think therefore I am. Just how like nothing can really be proved. He breaks down everything and shows like nothing can be proven except for yourself. And that sort of was the basis of what my philosophy because the origins of Vistrianism is before this, what it is now. Because for a couple years I was trying to find the truth, and then I eventually realized that you can't really find the truth. I sort of was not believing in anything, sort of what I had built with Vistrianism before that sort of fell apart. If nothing can be proven, then it doesn't matter. Then you can believe whatever you want, and it can't be disproven in the same way that it can't be proven. And so there's no point believing in nothing when you can believe in something. They're not necessarily any more true than anybody else's belief, but they're what works for me and makes my life most meaningful.
Thank you. That's a really thought out answer. I really appreciate that. Well, my name is Kerry. I'm here with Bingo the Vistrian at Swamp Cow Kava, and thank you, Bingo, for giving your answers. Really appreciate your time and really respect you as a producer, songwriter. Just brilliant. You have a brilliant mind. Yeah. So thank you for sharing your art with us.
Thank you for having me and giving me an opportunity to talk and stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you.
Love, sincerely welcome and prepare to reborn Neo in the founding experience of Bingo the Vistrian.